Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blend. This your boy Davis. Man, I got Stone Cold Reed Austin in the building. You heard me? Show love to my boy, man. We got 5 in the building. Appreciate you for joining, bro.
No, for sure. Appreciate it. Just found out my dog is my pro fight, which is
Hey,
insane. So it's all
hey,
love. Anything he
yeah,
need, it's gonna happen.
absolutely. Super small world. You know what I mean? That's what happened when you know people, good people got good, you know what I mean? Get blessings. You put that good energy out there and that type of stuff come back. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the show real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to, you know what I mean, hold people up with that info. So first thing I want to do is, as like people know that you covered the team, but I don't think people know. I think they think y'all covered through Propels. I don't think people really know that you was legitimately like covering the team, bro. What was that like being able to? Did you grow up like a Pels fan or like not Pels, like Hornets fan, or anything like that?
Let's say like I had a sister, I had an older sister. She used to work for the Hornets, like in
Okay.
marketing. So I would, Baron Davis, like, oh, Chris, like she
Ooh.
knew Chris Paul, like, okay, all right, now I'm a fan. It was one time, yeah, it's kind of crazy when I'm from Hammond, and the Hornets put on a camp in Hammond. So we thinking Chris Paul coming. So all me and my partners pull up. You know what I mean? Like, are we ready to who we got
Okay.
our shirts on? Guess who show up?
I don't know.
Birdman. It was like, this is after the dunk contest. It was like, man, nobody won't.
Yeah.
What he gonna teach us? So we just start playing
Yeah.
5-on-5. But yeah, always been a big basketball fan. If it wasn't, that's just the team that you can watch that's close enough. So anybody that played in a Hornets jersey, I was rooting for, but
Yeah.
theoretically they wasn't good. So Celtics, that sort of
Mm.
thing. That was my team at one point.
Yeah, you kind of got to find somebody to, you know what I mean, attach to. I was an AI fan, so I cheered for the Sixers. And then if we had a good season, I'm like, go us. You know what I'm saying? And then like I was a Dirk fan. So like when they was on them 50. So I say that to say we have an idea of what it's like to cheer for teams that one, because you said Celtics. I said like AI Sixers, which
Yeah,
they was a little dysfunctional too. But then we said Dallas. Both of those, all three of those organizations, to a degree, have some kind of plan when they're running their organizations and stuff
yeah.
like that. And then being able to cover it, you know what I mean, like and get up close. What do you feel after like covering the team and comparing it to like what you thought as a kid growing up, and now you're an adult? How you feel about it now?
Man, that's crazy. I used to have this conversation with Justin. Shout out Justin all the time. Like you had this idea of what you think people are before you meet
Mm-hmm.
them. It's like, oh no, it's not the same. And then the things you hear don't necessarily correlate to who I'm seeing in real life, and
Mm,
not on the basketball court, but in the hallways, who interacts with you, who really genuine about how they move, and maybe the media doesn't necessarily like depict that, but I
mm-hmm.
can see from my point of view because I'm not allowing anybody else's opinion about somebody to impact me. So take somebody like Zion for instance, right? People
Okay.
think whatever they think about him,
Right,
but
right, right.
he understands who's genuinely like rooting for him. He'll walk past. Oh, what up, Zion? How you doing, bro? Chilling, man. We running for 5-10 seconds. Keep it moving. I'm not asking for no autograph. I'm not trying to be in your life. I'm really trying to check and see, hey, bro, how you doing? And
Mm-hmm.
from that point, like that was early on. And then there was one point where I did a whole interview with Zion by myself. No one else is in the
Mm.
room. It's just me and him. We just running in it
Just
about
running it.
basketball, just basketball. And I think building those relationships with those people, making it real organic. I'm not trying to tear you down. I'm just trying to gain information so I could be a better journalist. I have a better understanding of basketball. So, being behind the scenes is not what you think, but you get an insight of who people really are.
Mm. That's dope, bro. Especially to like mention that, like mention Zion in that way, because it kind of you've seen him be that way, like in interviews. You know what I mean? When he's at the podium and he's like, you know what? what you think I did? You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah,
he'll flip it and ask the question to the reporter. And I think most of these dudes are just like regular people, bro.
they
You
are.
know what I mean? Like super regular people that go through emotional swings, ups and downs. My girlfriend did whatever. You know what I mean? I'm a millionaire now. Like I would imagine that, like, you know, working behind the scenes and like actually following. And I'm assuming you travel with the team as well a couple times,
A
right?
couple times, yeah, for sure. Well,
Okay,
not with the
yeah,
team. I traveled
but
to a couple cities.
yeah,
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 absolutely. So like being able to see them in multiple different elements as opposed to like just being you know, just in the city or just at home.
yeah,
I would imagine like those perspectives, bro, like go a huge way. And credit to you, you ain't never like from the players and stuff like that, you ain't never hear nobody kind of throw no shade on you
yeah.
and Grub for sure. You know what I mean? Because y'all do solid work, good people from the heart, and I think you could tell they appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. It was, and now that you bring that up, you think about somebody like Brandon. You put him in front of a camera. His tone's low,
Mm-hmm.
slow, methodical, and his thought process. He's not trying to give you too much. As soon as that camera's off, and the other reporters, man, say, bro, why y'all whoop the I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, Brandon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, bro, shoot the ball. He like, man, I'm trying. Like, we having real. This is a conversation with a
Mm.
multi-millionaire, former all-star, and he just running in about basketball. I'm like, why you
Yeah,
just don't talk like this and just in the interview? Like, who cares? Like, what they gonna do? Fire you? Like, no, just talk. But
bro.
they got to be conscious of their image. They got to be conscious of what they say because
Mm.
anybody could take something so small and turn it against them. That's the last thing I'm trying to do for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But just
absolutely.
being that person where you can be genuine. I think Grub does the same thing, but he in a different way. Grub super about stats. He gonna be honest, upfront, be the same person every day, and I think they still can respect that.
Absolutely. And like I said, man, you could tell that Brand, like, cause they talk about Brandon behind the scenes, like, man, Brandon, one of the goofiest people
Funniest.
in the, you know what I'm saying? They be like, bro, Brandon always cracking jokes and stuff like that. So you can, and that's a great segue to be honest, because going from Brandon to Trey, you can tell that the relationship between like Trey and some of his teammates, they just put the video out of Trey doing the phone call to, you know what I mean? Just calling you to say what's up, bro. Like just little stuff like that. Man, you could tell that these dudes, at least it appears that they have a genuine relationship with each other. So, how do you think Trey, specifically Trey, because you on the you on record right now, you know what I mean? And again, I think Trey gonna take a leap too, but you on record being like, hey, Trey, like one of them ones, right? First
Yeah,
off, how do you feel, like, to be clear, how do you feel about Trey Murphy's game? Um and the potential for Trey to be maybe not the best player right now, but like his ceiling as like the best player on a team.
Trey Murphy can be your best player on
You
your
think
team.
so?
Yeah. What?
Okay.
6'10", super athletic, can shoot from 40. Then if you give him the space, if just imagine if he had like an offensively minded coach,
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities are mindless, especially in this form of the NBA, right? Like the
Okay.
possibilities are just endless. And he has the charisma. He can be the face of
Mm.
your franchise. He doesn't get in trouble. He's perfect in front of the media. They sent him to NBA All-Star weekend and he wasn't even doing nothing. Like he wasn't in the
That's
games,
very true. He on the mic.
but he on the mic. Like
Yeah.
this could be a guy that should be the face of your franchise. And I think if you do that, it would allow Zion to be who Zion really is. Stop
Mm.
trying to make fetch work. Old Mean Girls
Mm.
adage. Just allow Zion to be who he is. If he wants to be in the back seat, let him be. But Trey, he a star. He in the fashion
A-
world. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
he's
He in the pod,
everywhere.
he in the media world. Yeah, that's very
Like,
true.
why wouldn't you want that person in front of a camera, in front of kids, being a true role model in the city of New Orleans in Louisiana? Yeah, and he not bad looking, so it
Mm,
all makes sense.
absolutely. Man, I ain't gonna much lie. You saying it the way you said it, like kind of redirected my mind in a sense, because initially my thoughts were the only way for Trey to really become, let's say, the face of the franchise, right? Zion got to go
Nope.
because exactly. My thought behind that was there's no way Trey could step into the face of the franchise with Zion here, because he the number one pick. That's who everybody wants to talk about, stuff like that, right? And then Zion's game is so polarizing, you know what I mean, to a degree. But if Trey's game takes a step and then the franchise leans into it, like the Trey that we saw for those, because there was a while he was the number one option. Zion missed all that time. Brandon was gone. Like the number one option was Trey. He had CJ and Murray. But so now you got me thinking, do we have to move Z? Like, do you have to move Z?
Them boys go together like peanut butter and jelly. They go together like butt cheeks. Like it don't matter. You got one dude that wants to shoot from 40. You got another dude that's trying to get downhill. Willie Green was subbing these dudes in for each other. It was the most
Absolutely.
idiotic thing I could think of. Like they need to play with each other at the most out of anybody, no matter what. And it's not that. Shout out to Michael Morgan.
So Mike, yeah.
It ain't about being a generational talent anymore, right? That's one of them things where we think about with rookies, right? Like who cares if he's generational? Like, can he perform? Can he perform at a high rate? Is he impactful? That's what we need to know, right? And you talked about those Dallas teams. You talked about that Celtics team. Is there generational talents on those teams? I'm sorry.
Realistically, no.
Realistically, no. But can they impact the basketball game at a high level? Yes. I think so. So I'm so to a point where we again, the generational talent stuff, to a degree, it doesn't win you basketball games. It just doesn't.
And now that I think being the face of the franchise doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be the best player in today's NBA world. Because like now that I'm thinking about it, because people have the argument, for example, to use this version of the Celtics. I personally think Jason Tatum is the best player on that team. But some people will argue, hey, Jaylen Brown, if you gave Jaylen Brown the same situation, he may be, Tatum-like, or as 1A, 1B. If Trey takes a step, now again, I don't think he's a better player than Zion because of how dominant Zion is. Like when he's on the floor, that's just a level of dominance. But if he can become that consistent all-star level player or something like that, you could absolutely lean into Trey as, you know what, Trey, you go do these interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I'm not saying that Trey is better than Zion. That's not it. Some people are just made for certain jobs. And sometimes you need somebody to balance you out. Zion isn't made, he's not a media darling. He's just not. Like why you keep trying to force somebody in front of a camera that doesn't want to be in the camera like that?
That's a very good point.
He just likes to hoop. So just allow him to hoop. Put people in place that just allow Zion to be Zion. And that way we can see the generational talent operate night in, night out, rather than him worrying about he got to answer questions at the end of a game. He got to worry about, this, that, and the third. Like, nah, Trey got that. You were about playing basketball.
Bro, this episode wasn't even supposed to be like this, but like, I think you just cracked the code, to be honest, because now I'm going back to Joe Dumars and his philosophy for building this team, right? So you know who else looks like a franchise guy? Jeremiah Fierce.
Don't he?
Jeremiah Fierce. So let's just say in a hypothetical world, Joe Dumars is talking to Zion and is like, hey, bro, look, I know how you are. I know how you want to operate. I need to get the front office. I need to get ownership off my back. I need for this year you to come through, show up, do what you're supposed to do so I could get you paid. I could lock, you know what I mean? We could lock it down and then we can transition to Jeremiah Fierce. Sounds like somebody, hey, look, I'm not afraid to be face of the franchise. Trey Murphy has been dying to step into this particular role as the lead guy. He's at worst, he's number 2 this season. Like, even if you say him and Poole are like equally talented, he's the number 2 because he's been here. He has a rapport with Zion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he's done the legwork. But now I'm thinking maybe Joe was thinking, and again, I could be wrong, it could be, but if you see Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen and Trey Murphy as like the pillars of the face of the franchise, and we have just this beast of a player, you know what I mean, that we could just let go do his thing. Now you really unlock what this team could be.
Yeah. And again, this is saying, like, it's easier to lead in a group than it is to lead by yourself. That's the real problem I have with the Pelicans. Stop just putting Zion out there as, oh, he the leader. That's not how to operate. We've all been in situations in groups where there's multiple leaders. There's multiple people that need to speak, and hey, this is what we're doing, and it's a tandem. Sorry if you hear my son playing the game. It's loud as shit.
Good.
All right. So Zion is one of those people that needs to lead in a group. He needs to be with other people to hash out ideas or go through certain things, rather than him being by himself. And if it all falls on him. And I don't think that's super fair. Yeah, there's some blame they put at his feet, but don't put everything at his feet. I don't think that's a great way to do it. But if you had a Trey Murphy on the side, and you're bringing up Jeremiah Fears, and now you have a champion in Jordan Poole and Kevon Looney, now they can actually teach them something. Those two in particular teach, Zion and Trey, hey, this is actually how you do this. This is how you can do this. I saw one of the greatest leaders, even in Draymond, and you can talk about Steph, right? This is how they did it. So this is probably how we need to operate.
I completely agree. So another thought I was having is kind of like this particular year, thinking about Trey Murphy specifically, right? Because the episode is about Trey being the number 1. So I kind of want to stick to that. My thought is last season, so like the last couple seasons, you've been seeing like development from Trey, right? Like the rookie season, he had to fight to get his minutes, but towards the end of the season, he showed, hey, during the playoffs and in that series against the Suns and that play-in game and stuff like that, he showed, okay, he might have some clutch to him. Second season, you know what I mean? The game came along. Was it Brandon that got hurt? Or no, it was Zion, I think, that was out the whole second season. And then him and Brandon were he was still, gaining experience and stuff like that. The 49 win season, that was the year he started off. He got hurt and came in with the hamstring. Right. To me, to be honest, I think that was Trey's worst season in a sense, because he struggled for so long just to get into a rhythm.
A lot of forced shots, right? I think he came back way too early. The team was doing terrible. I think he ended up coming back in like early December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It just felt like he was trying to get back and help this team win because they needed his space, right? And that just was, again, I don't think that he did himself any favors or the team did him any favors by letting him get back out there. Like that's not on him. Like he shouldn't be the one just to provide space for everybody. Like, no, you got to run an offense that provides that space. But that was his worst season. And I think he probably learned a lot just from that, being able to understand his body more. And as Trey has gotten better each season, he's also gotten bigger each season, right? He's put on more weight. He's added more to his game, right? The handle's gotten better. I think if Trey Murphy rebounds, it's probably where we're going, why would Trey be a number 1? If Trey Murphy rebounds better, it unlocks everything. And I've been on this hype train. I've had conversations with his own father about this. Like telling Mr. Kenny to himself, can you please tell your son to rebound?
Yes.
I know, I'm telling him. Nah. If Trey just rebounds at a decent clip, I'm taking 7-8 rebounds a game, it opens up everything for this team.
Bro, Trey at 7-8 rebounds a game now puts him at 24. You're looking at 24, 7 and 4, something like, you know what I mean? Some 24 to 25, 7 and 4 with the team that they have now. If he can get 7, 8 rebounds a game, you're talking about at least 4 more points on putbacks. You know what I mean? Easy layups, stuff like that.
What if he shoots 50, 40, 90? Like that
he's
done
very
before.
capable. Yeah, very capable.
That he's done before. So we've seen it before at a lower clip.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think so to go back to that 49 win season, you was talking about how much he learned from himself. I think that season was so frustrating for him to a degree because one, he came back early, like you said, was struggling to find, like he probably never shot that terribly in his life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the offense, because you hit on the offense, and I've done multiple shows just trying to figure out how we can solve the offense. And I know how we solve it, but if we're not gonna make that move, then we got to figure it out, other ways, whether that's personnel or these dudes just saying we're gonna do something else. But he was, dependent upon other players to be able to create. And you know what I think the biggest thing is, when you're trying to get paid, that that weighs on you, bro. Like I'm not shooting well, but I only can get my shots off of somebody else. Our season ends and like I'm not able to be impactful because I'm dependent upon Zion or Brandon, and both of those players are injury prone players. So what does that do for you? I think that season and him coming in, go ahead.
I just had to make this point. Dog, I remember asking Willie Green about Trey and about, like, do y'all think about running plays for Trey? And essentially the answer was Trey would get his shots in the offense. And I'm like, your best shooter needs to get his shots in the offense? All right.
Okay.
Got it.
So, when people make those statements like this guy's probably forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know and that type of stuff, say, bro, respectfully, respectfully. But he makes you question those. You know what I mean? Because just very simply, if you run any kind of offense, like any kind of play for Trey, you not only do you see Trey's game develops, and we might have saw a different level of Trey earlier on, like a season or two ago, but now you unlock Zion, you make her better. Like you just emphasize everybody else's strengths by just running a play or two, and not the ghost screen, bro. Like the only thing they run is the ghost screen, to the point where Trey has literally added shooting from 35 feet to the offense because that's the only way he could get an easy look.
And then they see that coming. Like the defense knows, like, oh, he about to run across, and Trey don't even screen.
No.
Shout out to Ronald. Like Trey doesn't even screen, and I don't think that's just like a him thing. I think that's more so a team thing. I think the Pelicans are essentially probably the worst screening team I've ever seen in my life. But how you gonna run a ghost screen for somebody that don't screen? Like it don't work that way. Somebody got to believe that he's about to screen and then stop their momentum, and then Trey gets to leak out, or Zion gets left with playing 2-on-1 or 1-on. Like that's how that works. Yeah. But oh man, we could probably have a whole nother show about Willie Green.
Absolutely. I didn't want to put you in that position to give some of your thoughts about the coaching acumen of Willie Green. So I'm big on us this season. I really think we have the talent to be a top 6 seed. Like I got Zion being 65 plus games played. I got Trey 60 something plus games. I got Zion second team all NBA, bro. 28, 8 and 8. Like, and Trey, I don't know if he makes the All-Star because the West from that position, KD, Brian, Luka, like it's gonna be tough for him to get into the All-Star game. But if this particular team produces, he'll look like an All-Star. You know what I'm saying? And I think with the additions of Poole and Poole and Herb coming back,
Yeah.
I actually think that we're going to see a jump from Trey even more significant than what it is that people think. What kind of stat line per se, and even if not stat line and impact, do you think Trey's going to have with the new look Pels? Because again, respect to CJ and Brandon, but I just personally think CJ at this point is a professional scorer. You know what I mean? And his playmaking isn't, you know what I mean? Like, people don't fear him as a playmaker on the court.
Yeah, that's why I always thought CJ probably was best coming off the bench. You know, if the team was fully healthy, right? That would have been like a prime role. That way he can go against second unit guys. And there's data behind, you know, when he and JV played at that time, they were like top 15 in duos, you know, just in small sample sizes. Jordan, on the other hand, I'm super excited about him and Trey from the standpoint of, like, I've always said Trey had a little bit of like Clay, right? And Jordan, of course, is
they thought he was the heir apparent to Steph when he was in Golden State.
So if you just take and again, if it's Zion just screened a little bit more, he could be Draymond-esque in that frame, and with his ability to play again 2-on-1, 3-on-2, and you got Zion going full speed. And
that's a supercharged Draymond.
Supercharged. Like, so I've always had that thought process. You just need the right coach to kind of implement that. But I want to see Trey. I want to hear stories about Trey and Jordan shooting competitions. When I hear stories about that, I'm gonna know something.
Okay.
Because that'll let me know, like, nah, they not just competing for, you know, in practice, but this is gonna get them better. Like, we've all heard stories about Clay and Steph on opposite ends of the court. And hey, if
they go shooting 50 miles,
if it hit the rim, it don't count. Man, what? If it don't hit the rim, what kind of game are you playing, sir? I'm counting everything that go through the net. It don't matter, but y'all playing a different game. So if Trey and Jordan play games like that, great. That's gonna let me know a lot. And that'll help both of their games. Then I heard something the other day about just in general people being around each other. What's the artist name? He's like from Tennessee. Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the Tennessee Titans about, you know, him being on the road a ton, and, you know, they were trying to figure out, you know, how to get their flavor out in this small 1 hour session while they was performing. They could never like get it together. He said until they realized getting that bond wasn't just on a you know, when they were
on
playing
the stage
music,
or whatever.
It was all the time they spent together. So if these two cats or these three, this team can spend more time in the gym together. And I think that was one of the issues with Zion and Brandon. They were never in the gym together during the summer. They were never together.
True.
Yeah. So how can you expect a team to gel and make progress and when they only together when they hooping?
Yeah, couple months of the season. I see you at training camp.
You ain't winning nothing. Y'all not trying to win nothing. We see clips of every other team training camps they putting on by themselves. Everybody there, they got cameras. We don't see that with the Pelicans.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, because in that same video that they had earlier, they had the little quick clip of Trey being like, "Hey, make sure y'all in LA." Do you think Zion's gonna be there?
I've had.
He better be.
He better be.
And I want to
see clips of people hooping.
Yes.
Don't show. I don't want to see y'all doing yoga. I don't want to see none of that. I want to see hooping. And I want everybody need to be there, especially the top guys.
Yeah. I think part of, and I don't think these guys were jealous of each other or anything like that. I don't think they care about that type of stuff to a degree, but I've always been a proponent of, you need to outwardly say this is Zion's team, right? So everything can fall in its proper place. Like, if you come out and say this is Zion's team, you don't have Brandon talking about we can't run this offense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you immediately, in my opinion, you nip that in the bud. So with Joe Dumars being like that, when Mark Jackson got to Golden State, he was so heavy on, hey, this is Steph's team.
Yeah.
Like, you will not play if you don't understand that it is Steph Curry's team. We need, and I think Joe Dumars is kind of like that. And Zion, I personally think, needs that. If you go back, his personality is too passive, bro. In my opinion.
Oh,
back to Duke.
It is, right? Remember, coming into Duke, Zion wasn't supposed to be the guy.
RJ Barrett was the man.
Correct.
He was deferring to RJ Barrett, bro.
Ridiculous. And then something happened, right? And Zion's talent just took over.
Yes.
Right? You saw him be amazing at Duke. Probably the second half of that year. Everything, probably since post Maui, everything took off.
Yeah.
But in that same vein, right? You brought up Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was the what?
Cool. All right. Yeah,
it's cool when the GM it's cool when the GM say it. It's president of basketball. It's cool when he say it, right? Because he gonna say it outwardly. David Griffin said multiple times, this is Brandon's team, or they looking for a leader. He said that multiple times.
Yeah.
But I never heard Willie Green say that.
Nope. You absolutely right. And not only have you not heard him say it, like, now that I think about it, when I said, like, Mark Jackson would bench you, like, Willie Green, in my opinion, doesn't have any, like, what is it that he's standing on, like, of the points that I'm trying to get across? You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro, this is how we're gonna play. Because do you even have a this is how we're gonna play? You know what I mean? Because that's part of the problem, the inconsistency from game to game, stuff like that. And again, I don't want to do that. I don't want to say I don't want to do it to Willie like that, but that's part of why Trey has so much. The whole team got inconsistency. We don't know what's going on, but you don't have anything definitive to lean on. So when they come in, like, I think they, like, at this LA thing that they shoot around, this little mini camp, whatever, they have to establish it for themselves. Because when you come into the season, and I think Willie's coaching for his life, y'all better have something ready to go, because everybody's gonna be in flux, in my opinion.
See, that's another thing that I'm thinking about and I'm scared about. I mean, I'm not one to say a black man needs to get fired. I'm not gonna say it. But what's gonna happen is this team's gonna say they're going to run to start the season. You think that's because of Willie Green? Like that, like, I just want people to be realistic about what we're gonna look at. You know, if the team is inconsistent game by game, but they, getting wins. Just because, again, I was saying in 49 wins. I thought that was a failure.
Absolutely.
Truthfully,
that should have been a 50-something win team. That was the 55, 56 win team at minimum, in my opinion.
I think you go into every game when Willie Green's your coach, you go into every game like at a deficit. You're almost like at a negative 10 points off rip.
Ooh.
Easily. And that's the tough part watching it. And this is my assessment. This ain't from nobody else. This is me watching the game and seeing it like, nah, bro, I stopped going to Willie Green pressers.
Damn.
I stopped. I truthfully stopped because
wasn't gaining nothing.
Nah, man, like I don't learn anything. And then I started going to the other teams. That's when I realized. I vividly remember calling Justin, like, yo, I wanted to talk to Ja. So I went to the other teams. I got to talk to Taylor Jenkins. And you're like, yo, like he gave me an answer about I think they were talking about like some set. And I was like, okay, what are y'all actually looking at? He gave me the answer.
So he
like,
knew
I would never get that answer out of Willie Green. Like I was super impressed.
Do you think he wouldn't share the details, or is kind of like, because he's very secretive, right? Even coming in the last season, he didn't want to give out the starting lineup. Like, bro, we the Pelicans, man. It don't matter what our starting lineup is, bro. You can tell people what to start. You probably need to let these players know Hey, you coming off the bench so you can start getting comfortable and leaning into your role. Like, do you think when you ask questions about like the offense or the defense or what it is that we're looking for, what it is that we're trying to go into the games and do, other than like blanket basketball stuff, we want to get pressure, stuff like that. Do you think he
Energy.
actually, yeah, energy? We didn't play tough enough. We didn't play with enough force. Do you think he actually knows like the X's and O's of what it is that they're trying to execute?
And based on the players' answers in press conference, no. Brandon literally said we've been getting by on talent alone.
Yeah,
On talent alone. What
yeah,
does that tell you? And this is
yeah,
a person that him and Brandon were like tight. They
yeah.
went to an NBA Finals game together
That
that they didn't
relationship
play in.
diminished quick. Yep.
So I, it's it's hard for me to believe that he understands it. Truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, based on even information that I've gotten from people, like, no, I don't think he gets it. I don't truly, bro. Talking to Joe Mazzulla and talking to Willie Green is two different worlds. Two different worlds.
Joe. Yeah. So to kind of tie this back, do you think this particular team, because Trey at this point is year 5, right?
I
Year
believe, yeah.
so year 5 Trey,
Yeah.
and he Willie's the only coach that he knows. Zion, he's been through a couple, but this is year what, 6, 7 for Zion? Year
On year
7?
7, I believe, is
Year 7 for Zion. So your players aren't young players anymore at this point. Do we believe that Trey, Z, Herb, that's been here for a while through the Willie Green era, they bring Jordan Poole along and have them be able to be successful during this, during this stretch?
Is Willie your coach? Yeah, that's always gonna be the question. The players are talented enough, yeah.
Okay.
I think those, because they all want to hoop. You always see Jordan Poole in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You always see Trey Murphy in the gym. If you're not doing fashion stuff, whatever the hell the other stuff. Um, Zion, I think Zion's like a true gamer. Like, I don't think he needs, like, he don't really care about the other
I ain't
stuff
trying
in
to.
basketball, but he likes playing. Herb is all world, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hoop. They can figure out how to win together. These
Okay.
these collection of players. The hindrance truly is who's at the helm and operating, because there's gonna be a time where, because we've all been in games, we've all played basketball to some degree. We already in it. We can't see what the
Mm-hmm.
advantage point that a coach has. Like, all right, listen, they helping more so this side. We might need to swing and get them in rotation, and then all right, ball screen. We're gonna do a Spain pick and roll, just to give you an idea, just to
Jesus.
free someone up. They don't have that luxury.
That's
Every
insane.
90% of the league has that luxury. The Pelicans don't, and they haven't had it for a while.
Question. Because that's not only Willie's job, that's everybody on the staff's job. So like, everybody talks about how stubborn Willie is. So like, is Borrego not sitting there, let's say, seeing this and be like, hey, say, bro, they're trapping us, they're forcing Zion to do this. I think we should counter with this particular move. You know what I mean? Let's float Trey over, let's run, whatever kind of action you want to run. Do they not give him that information? And then it's just like, no, we gonna.
I have on good authority that they've tried
Wow.
many times, and it gets stepped on like some bad heroin. Stepped on. Like,
See, that's tough there. That's, to me, that more than anything is what's gonna get him. Like, if he does get let go, that's gonna get you fired, because how players are expected to get better in the off season, your coaches are also expected to get better in the off season. Your defensive numbers, if you remember a couple years ago when the Pels played, this is when Gentry was still a coach, but the Pels played Golden State, and they were asking Draymond what he thought of the defense, because at the time we weren't really a great defense, but they were a solid defense, right?
Yeah.
And Draymond said, yeah, they've been doing some things, but they run like a gimmicky kind of defense, which means Steve Kerr broke it down and was like, that's not good defense. Do we think that Willie, even on the defensive end, which is what he's supposed to be good at, like, is he not improving in that area or the offensive area? And if that's the case, like, what will it take?
We all got tricked to thinking Willie Green was like a good defensive coach. We got tricked.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that he truly is a good defensive coach. Name me one player that has gotten better defensively because Willie Green is their coach that wasn't already good on defense. Very true. Name me a player.
I agree, because I've always thought Zion was a good defender. Trey has to care about defense to be a good defender. And Herb is Herb. So, like, Dyson came into the league a stopper.
Right. Let's take Herb. Let's take Trey, because Trey and Willie Green came into this thing together. Right? Has Trey gotten better defensively? The kid that couldn't get on the court because he couldn't get better defensively. How did the coach improve his defense because he needed him on the court? Or was he just expecting him to get better defensively? There's two ways to think about this, right? Like, your kids. Like, I got 3 kids of my own. Like, if I tell them, like, hey, stop doing that, and they continue to do that, and I don't teach them anything, that's on me. That's not truly on them. They may hear me, but maybe they just don't know how to do it. So if I don't show them and rep it and rep it and rep it, and they're gonna just continue to do what they do unless I fix it. And I think Willie Green has never tried to actually fix it.
Man, that's a very, people have made this point before, but, like, again, when you hear somebody reiterate it, you know what I mean? Then like it really makes a difference, because it emphasizes how much further along we could be. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point that it almost makes me feel bad for David Griffin to a degree. Like, he's part of his own problem, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I think if let's take these two. We use Trey, talk about Griff. These two things are actually together. They're not mutually exclusive. They are super connected. The ascension of Trey Murphy and Brandon Ingram, right? If Trey Murphy is invested in, as he should have been, you could have moved Brandon earlier without any remorse. And you would have been okay with it.
Absolutely.
Because you would have saw the development early enough to just go ahead and move Brandon when Brandon had, suitors.
When they were saying we could get Kevin Durant.
And you would be okay with moving Brandon because Trey is ascending. But he wasn't ascending at a clip that was high enough to move Brandon, unless you just had the foresight to see, he can be nice. But that takes some foresight.
We're not good for that either. Man, that's insane. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of like mind blown letting it play through for a second. Because, and again, I didn't really want to make it a Willie thing, but when I think about how much better Trey has gotten over these years, and literally when people criticize like Zion, right? And they criticize Zion, man, why hasn't Zion picked up this and why hasn't Zion picked up that? And it's like, well, nobody is emphasizing getting better on anything. Like, you literally just have to have the I want to be great and do it on your own.
And bro, that's a terrible. I'm not saying like these guys get paid a ton of money, right? They're supposed to invest in their bodies. They're supposed to, get better on their own. But there has to be a point where somebody's like, hey, this is how you can get better this way, and they actually believe it and trust it. You think Pop is just like some person that people just don't want to play for? Like people, Chris Paul went to San Antonio to play under Pop. Like it wasn't truly about winning or just playing. It was like, yo, I need to learn from somebody that understands basketball from a different realm than I do. And I think he probably got smarter because of it. Like, who does Zion get smarter from?
I think that's also why he connects with, I think the personal level he connects with Joe Dumars, but Joe like the old soul giving you game. Come here, son. Let me show you how to do this. The GM ain't showing you. Everybody ain't really showing you how to do this. I'm gonna give you the game, how to unlock the NBA. I was around Jordan. I was around Isaiah. I was around Rodman. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
He won NBA Finals MVP. He ain't no slouch.
No, man. No. I'm a Hall of Famer, bro. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm a Hall of Famer.
He was listening to Biggie just like Zion do now. Like, they probably can connect on multiple levels. And Zion's a big fan of 90s NBA basketball and 90s style at this point. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to learn from Joe, from Zion. And I'm pretty sure they had a relationship prior to Joe coming to New Orleans, right? Like, Joe was over, and players get into some BS.
Yeah, probably
right?
calling Z again, bro.
What you got going? And now that dude is in your backyard. Like, it's easy to pull up on. Oh, Zion getting into some. Okay, cool. I know how to handle it. So
yeah, I got some. We're gonna go ahead and kind of. Well, last thing, we got a little dialogue going on in the chat right now. They're cutting up out here, so I'm gonna go ahead. We'll start that one. It's like, who's better right now, Poole or Trey? Poole could very well be the number 2 if he takes a step forward in this game. Shout out to you. What is that?
Big Maj.
Big Maj 504. Appreciate you, Big Maj, starting this conversation. So you want to answer that?
Who's better? That's debatable. I wouldn't be mad at either answer. I would say Jordan Poole is better right now. I'm cool with that.
I think Poole is. I don't necessarily know if I want to say better, because what I saw. So individually, skill for skill, Poole is probably better.
Yeah.
Poole is probably better. But that 6'10" frame, Poole can't. It's the same argument with, like, and it's not to this level, but that Steph KD argument when people used to say who's the best player on that team. And it's like, well, they ran everything through Steph, but Steph is just physically unable to do some of the things that Kevin Durant can do. Like, Poole, skill for skill, might be a better player, you know what I mean? But you're not 6'10", bro. You can't defend the rim. You can't rebound. You can't like attack the rim the way I can and stuff like that. So, like,
and I can shoot better than you, almost better than you. That's the even skill, right? If we say each one of these guys can shoot at a 40% clip, cool. That's the one that they shake on. Trey has the higher ceiling. Let's just say that Trey has the super higher ceiling than Jordan Poole.
Yeah. Let me ask. Here's one of the fine. Trey fits better in any NBA. Trey untouchable. Trade wise, I do think Trey untouchable. More teams will want Trey in the value. Trey way more. Trey rarely takes bad shots. I disagree with the Trey rarely takes bad shots.
Oh,
I disagree with that. You don't think Trey take bad shots?
So it's always context with me, right? Why is he taking that bad shot?
Because he has to.
Probably talking about the 40-foot bombs.
Absolutely have to.
Because if I don't shoot this now, I'm never getting it back.
That's the bigger problem for me too. Like, not only is his spacing and his opportunity of where he's getting, like, Trey don't know, like, when he touch it, especially pause. That's crazy. But when Trey gets the rock, again, if he doesn't shoot it, not only will he possibly not be open because the defense is like, hey, bro, that guy can shoot. Like, you probably should deny him, guard him, so they're going to defend him. Secondly, he's always either spotted up in the corner, you know what I mean, somewhere that's easily defendable, like easy to defend.
there's two other defenders right there, the sideline, right? He's in the corner. The two end lines are already defending him. And then I just need to have a player in relatively close range to guard him. Like I don't think we're like rocket scientists or basketball savants, but we clearly can see why this dude takes, terrible shots at times. Because if he doesn't, he ain't getting it rocked back.
Yeah. I think that's why Brandon was always a tough shot maker, but I think that's why Brandon like kind of just molded his game to like live like to be able to listen. I gotta work on, because when you work on something, that's what you lean into. Yeah. So I think he worked on making tough and challenging shots. So when they was like, hey man, we need you to shoot these easy ones, and it's like, well, I ain't even looking at that. I'm looking at stepping in and hitting the little short ones.
Dog, it was one game that I always go back to, and I believe it's like Minnesota, and I think Jaden McDaniels, I think that's his name, right? Was guarding Brandon, and Brandon was like using like his fadeaway jumper in the first quarter, and I'm like,
why?
Like, I'm not tripping. Like that's not the shot we need to be. Like he made it. I'm not blaming Brandon, but I think that was just like the team. Like this is what we going to. Like the beginning of the game, first play of the game.
Yeah.
Fadeaway jumper in the short corner. Like this can't be basketball, right?
Yeah. Good look. good look, man. Say, bro, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to go reevaluate my Willie Green takes now, because it's not that for me, I've always thought since it's like year two, Willie was not. True, throw it off the alley backboard down 20. Maybe he probably dunked that hole though. You know what I mean? He flushing it, but Willie initially, I thought was like that first season, they got off to the slow start, and I thought he had a lot of potential how he, rounded up the troops, not necessarily strategically, but I thought, okay, as a first year head coach, to be able to keep that group together and make a push and get into the play-in, and you know what I mean, get them together to go into the playoffs and push that Suns team. You know what I mean? They pushed that Suns team. I was like, okay, we might have something. Year two for me is when I was like, nah, I don't.
He just didn't improve at all.
At all.
And you know what's wild? I asked him the media day after that season with the that series with the Suns, the next media day. I said, what did you learn about yourself? And he was almost like startled at the question, like, almost like, how dare I ask him, something like that. But like, he really didn't give me like a poignant answer. It's all super generic, but like, no, truly, like coaches need to learn too. Like, what did you learn to work on? Because you can't sit up and be like, hey, I know everything.
No,
you don't. Neither of us do. But you got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, I got to get better at this so my team can get better. And I don't think he's done that yet.
Absolutely, man. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, bro. I appreciate you for coming through 5. You know what I mean? Showing love. You know what I mean? Hopping in the episode and everything, bro. And listen, I am of the mindset that Trey. Do you think Trey said on what show was this? I think it was the 520 pod that he wants to be, the next step for him is he wants to be pushing for all NBA, right? Now, his words. And he has the skill set, frame, and everything to be that level player. I don't know if he gets there or whatever. Look at this man. I'm requesting from my guys. MJ Brian debate. Set that up.
All right, we're gonna get Just A Davis on the pod, and we're gonna run it like that then.
Shit.
That seems good for me.
Yeah, what's good for y'all? Well, look, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. You know what I mean? Say, bro, man, look, I appreciate y'all, everybody that tapped in. You know what I mean? We're gonna go ahead and sign out. I'm gonna go ahead and get my boy 5 out of here so he can go ahead and get ready. Y'all tap in the Propels. They got 5 minutes before they're getting ready to go. So y'all refresh, get ready. You know what I mean? Tap in. For Pels in the Blender, we out. Peace.
Peace.